It must know the earth and we can be good friends. Let's listen to our harvest time will never end. Just listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land, listen to the land. Just listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land, listen to the land. Listen to the land, listen to the land.
Good morning. Welcome all you shiny, happy, smiley faces. I am Kay, and I am your trustee on duty today. On behalf of Reverend Donna Maurer and the Board of Trustees, I am privileged to welcome you here to the Sonoran, not Snoran, Desert Center for Spiritual Living. We are definitely not snoring. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are truly welcome here. Here you will be validated, supported, and encouraged to be all that you were meant to be. Our vision statement is love in action every day in every way. We express this love by learning and living the principles of the science of mind. On the back of our program, you will find the declaration of those principles. Please join me now in reading them. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. Do we have any first-timers today? Would you like to stand and introduce yourself, please? No pressure. Welcome. Anybody else? I don't see anybody. And welcome back, Lynn Montgomery. I would like to thank all of the people who made this Sunday celebration possible. And first of all, that's you sitting in those chairs. If you weren't here, it just wouldn't be the same. And thank you to the ones who make sure everything is set up and is in order for this gathering. Please direct your attention to the announcements that are in your bulletin. And if you're watching online, please visit cslaz.org for the announcements and the events calendar.
The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste, namaste.
Good morning. My name is John Lopez, and I am your practitioner today. The practitioners are the healing arm of our center. And so if you have anything going on right now that you would like treatment for, please fill out a prayer card over on our table. We'll put it in our magic box, and our practitioner team will do treatment for you all this week. Or you can also come to me after service for a 1-minute miracle. So as I light our service candle, I know and affirm that it represents the light of spirit, which expresses within each and every one of us here. So join me in our opening invocation, and let's know together that today's service is already perfect, whole, and complete, with Donna's inspirational words, Heather's beautiful music, with our support staff, Gray on video, and today Dawn, and with our kitchen staff, everyone contributing to make today's service perfect, whole, and complete. And together we say, and so it is. So my reading this morning is from week 3 of the CSL Global Themes entitled Unbounded and Unstoppable. Life invites us to live with gusto and verve. The only thing holding us back is ourselves and possible perceptions of obstacles. There is a sacred knowing deep within us that always supports and guides us, combined with courage and keen inner listening. This innate knowing will deliver us from and through anything. As we work in partnership with Spirit, all things are truly possible, especially the seemingly impossible. As we do our spiritual work and release inner restraints, we unbind ourselves with freedom. We can develop a sense of being unstoppable in realizing our dreams and goals because we know there are no limitations in God, only those we impose or perceive. When we fully realize that we're whole, perfect, and complete in God, then we can accept this truth for and about ourselves. We must stop selling ourselves short and imposing our own restrictions. In God, we are unbounded and unstoppable if we allow ourselves to be. There was a popular song in the 1980s called "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." Remember that one? It basically talked about staying clear of those negative people who try to keep us down, but instead, we're going to get our act together and not let them stop us, moving with holy boldness, regardless of what's before us. Even if we don't fully know or understand the full picture and are simply following our intuitive sense, we know we're headed in the right direction. We take action because we hear and answer the call and are dancing to the beat within. Even and especially if it's a different beat than others are moving to, and we may seem as odd or unusual. We're undaunted by those labels, and we feel empowered to step out anyway, regardless of what others may say or think. This is how people gain the courage to come out of the closet, so to speak, about whatever it is they couldn't express before. They somehow find the holy boldness to do it anyway. In order to feel unbounded, we have to free ourselves of restraint with unlimited ability to move and take action. We must examine our own hidden beliefs and perceptions that can be our greatest obstacles, as well as those that others may impose. Our spiritual practices can inform our course of action to resolve old beliefs, stories, perceptions, limitations, so that we are free and clear to move forward through life, answering our own call and intuitive guidance. This pathway leads to being unstoppable in God and having an unbounded freedom to express fully and completely just as we are and as we're meant to be. We walk with holy boldness, emblazoned from within, shining our inner light brightly for all to witness and behold.
We're continuing our theme, Lessons from the Land, and our topic today is priming the pump. There is an old legend about a man lost in the desert. He was dying for a drink of water, and he stumbled upon an old shack. He looked around and found a little shade from the heat of the desert. And as he looked further, he saw an old rusty water pump about 15 feet away. He stumbled over to it, grabbed the handle, and began to pump and pump, but nothing came out. Then he noticed an old jug to the side of the pump. He looked at it, wiped away the dirt, and read the message that was taped to it. You have to prime the pump with all the water in this jug. Be sure to fill the jug again before you leave. He popped the cord out of the jug and found it almost full. And of course, he was faced with a dilemma. Wouldn't we all be? You know, if he drank the water, he could live and be satisfied. But if he poured the water into the old rusty pump, maybe it would give cool water from down deep in the well. And that way, he would have plenty of water, and there would be more for anyone who might come after him. And finally, he decided to pour all the water into the pump. And he grabbed the handle and began to pump. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Nothing came out. Squeak, squeak, squeak. And finally, a little bit of water dribbled out. Then a stream. And finally, the water gushed out. He filled the jug and drank from it. He filled it another time and drank that one as well. He filled the jug for the next traveler. He filled it to the top, put the cork back in, and added this note, "Trust me, this really works." The man trusted the note, but I also think he must have trusted an inner voice that knew using the water to prime the pump was the right thing to do. Alan Cohen, in A Deep Breath of Life, says the universe provides for all our needs if we trust it. We do not have to fight for our good or struggle with others over a seemingly limited supply. The God that created countless stars and fathomless seas is able to create abundance for us, and our job is to listen to that guidance and trust it. When we trust the messages we are giving, that's like priming our spiritual pump. When we say yes to Spirit, even if our endeavor is a bit scary, we are putting our faith into action, knowing that Spirit has our back. We can trust Spirit. We can trust Spirit. Now, I remember a story that my first Science of Mind minister, Dr. William Hornaday, told of a woman in her mid to late 70s who had lost her husband and was trying to regroup. And I still remember her name was Ella Pomeroy. Isn't that perfect? Dr. Bill, as we called him, asked her to think of a dream that she would like to accomplish. She told him that she had never learned to swim, but had always had a dream to do a high dive. With his encouragement, she signed up for beginning swim lessons. She asked Dr. Bill to come to her graduation, and he watched as she did all the moves with grace, from dog paddling across the pool to a lovely side stroke, even though her body was frail and her swimsuit several sizes too large. She moved on to higher levels, and each time he was invited to her final graduation performance. Then one day she called him and said, "I did it, and you have to be there for my graduating high dive." Of course he went, and when he saw this frail little body in a suit that didn't hang quite right, climbing up this ladder to this very high dive, he thought, "Oh my God, I'm responsible for this. If she breaks her neck, I'll never forgive myself." And nervously he watched as she climbed higher and higher, and he wanted to close his eyes as this tiny thing stood way at the top of the board. She paused for a second, and off she went in a perfect swan dive. She came up all smiles and waving at him, much to his relief. She had fulfilled her dream. She had primed the pump by taking those very first steps, by learning to dog paddle. That was her way of priming the pump for something greater. And she was absolutely radiant. She had grown into this extraordinary version of herself. And the next week, she called Dr. Bill to thank him for all of his support of her and said, "Guess what, Dr. Bill? I just signed up for skydiving lessons." So John was right in what he read this morning, right? When we spiritually prime the pump, we take that first step. Just as a man chose to use that small amount of water he had in order to have even more water, not just for himself, but for others, Ella began by learning to dog paddle, which gave her faith in her ability to do even greater things. And her story lives on. We're hearing it today. So you may take that home and tell somebody else, because what a beautiful story for this woman to come out in full force and be unstoppable. Jesus tells us that only a small amount of faith is necessary. In Matthew, we read, he told them another parable. "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree so that the birds come and perch in its branches. Just a little bit of faith is enough, the faith of a mustard seed, because it begins a process that allows more and more faith. And faith moves us beyond the facts. It moves us beyond appearances. And its essence, it seems to me, lies in trusting ourselves to discover the deeper truths on which we can truly rely. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, tells us carefully we should cultivate the smallest spark of faith, and we should always be reminding ourselves that there is a power upon which we may rely. We must throw ourselves with complete abandonment into this power, for it will never fail us. In the language of the original Buddhist text, Pali, the word usually translated as faith, is saddha, and it means to place the heart upon. So to have faith is to offer one's heart, or to give one's heart, or to listen to one's heart. And I think that what we're placing our heart upon is a deep conviction that there is a greater truth than what we can see. In spiritual terminology, faith means a belief in the presence of an invisible principle and a law which directly and specifically responds to us. And Dr. Holmes says to realize that God is ever present, ever available, is to know that all the wisdom, intelligence, and power of the universe is right where you are. Your word is power when you know this. And this is why everything in your life depends upon your belief, why it is done unto you as you believe. Change your belief, and you can change the world. When I was a practitioner, so remember I talked last week about Vitura Papke, my practitioner that I love so much. She was our practitioner teacher, and she was adamant that we treat, which means pray affirmatively, for things, for tangible things, a parking space, a new car, a better job. And one student protested and said, but I want to treat for more important things like world peace. Vitura smiled and said, that will come, dear. But for now, tangible results promote conviction. Isn't that a fabulous statement? Tangible results promote conviction. And when you're so convinced that this stuff works because you have proved it over and over and over, then you can treat for the intangibles that are not so easy to see. Again, he says, active faith is knowing from direct experience that a theory can be proved. It involves keeping our heart high to the truth that God works in each and every one of us. We are always demonstrating results in our life at the level of our belief. Most of the time, we are not aware of these beliefs or of the creative process we are automatically using that is continually drawing experiences into our lives. I had a friend when I was in Florida, and she had studied with a woman in Japan that brought the idea of mind, body, spirit into one. And she loved that philosophy, and she wanted to write a book, but she felt like she was too old. But a lot of people, including me, encouraged her. And one day she told me, I found somebody who's going to do the cover art. So that prompted her, that little spark prompted her to begin. And she wrote her book, and it was very well received. And she was so happy. She had literally lived her dream. And she promoted her book in other states. And very early on, she went to her hotel room one night and passed peacefully in her sleep. She was not meant to market the book. She was meant to write the book. And I checked on Amazon. It's still on there, but it's $1 zillion. But that was, gosh, that was 40 years ago maybe. But what an idea to think that one little thing can spark us into being unstoppable, into going beyond what we ever thought we could do. So when we are guided by our spiritual pump, we are guided by an inner voice that knows what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And when we have faith to follow that guidance, we will not only help ourselves, but we automatically help others. This is going to be a short sermon because I want to close with this story. There were 3 ships around a sinking ship when the distress signal was sent. The first one, Samson, was approximately 7 miles away. They could actually see the sinking ship. But they turned their backs because the crew aboard the ship had been involved in illegal seal hunting. They did not want to get caught, and so they did not follow the distress signal. There was another ship approximately 14 miles away from the sinking ship. The Californians saw the distress signals as it was within eyeshot, but they were surrounded by ice, and it was nighttime, so they decided to wait until the morning when the conditions improved. The third ship was approximately 58 miles away and was already moving in the other direction when they heard the cries over the radio, and they answered that call. The captain of this ship prayed to God for direction and turned his boat. They waded ice fields in the dark, but they kept going. The boat was Carpathia, and the shipwreck it sailed to was a Titanic. They saved 705 lives that night. Those 705 lives were saved because one man chose the right over the easy. One man had the courage to trust the universe and follow his heart. That man was Captain Arthur Rostron, the man who simply said, "Mr. Dean, turn the ship around." Like Captain Rostron, you and I have the capacity for great things. We can be unstoppable, but we have to remember to prime the pump. Thank you. Namaste.
Please stand. Let's prime our spiritual pumps too. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in, big pause. My get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. It's time for our offering. So I ask that you join me in the offering affirmation on the left-hand side of our bulletin. My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so
And thank you, each and every one of you, for your generosity, which is like kind of like priming the pump. We put in our money, and then we see it as it not only helps us, but it goes out into the community as we tithe our Sunday tithe money. I think the Valley Assistance League was last month. We've done a lot to the food banks. So that circle that moves out, that's what you and I are responsible for, and I am so grateful to what we've created here as a spiritual family, the spiritual Sangha. So thank you so very much. So let's close this portion out in prayer, and please join us for refreshments and chance to know each other better. Oh, today's the third Sunday. Guess what? Ooh La La is open. So you guys get to stay here a little bit longer while we gals go shop. Okay, let's take a moment to just pray ourselves out, okay? I know that there's one divine intelligence, and this divine intelligence has the attributes of love, truth, beauty, joy, harmony, peace, abundance. And because everything is created out of this one, those attributes are inherently ours as offspring of the infinite. So as we go about our day, let's remember to prime our pump each morning with a prayer, an intention, a little time in the silence to allow Spirit to guide us through our day. And let us know that as we do that, we are creating more and more abundance for ourselves and for the world. I speak my word for anyone who's experiencing any kind of discomfort, and know that right where that discomfort is the healing power of the One. We turn to that and claim that it is at work right now. I give thanks to be a part of this beautiful family and know that we are indeed blessed beyond measure as we say together, and so it is. So may we stand and sing Stand.
So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy.